Hello again, PerfBytes listeners. It's Lucifer here, giving a big shout out to my good friends Mark and James for their continued coverage of the worldwide IT disasters and outages. Love the work you guys are doing. Don't forget to send a pair of those PerfBytes shoes right after this week's edition of The News of the Damned.
Can you dig it?
I think that guy's being attacked by a jackalope, right, Howard?
Jackalope, Radam Jackalope.
Radam jackalope. Yeehaw! Here we are, News of the Damned. James, we're continuing here. February, this kind of sums up News of the Damned for everything in February, and it's been a very active time, hasn't it?
February is kind of our slow time, but we do get some interesting stories. And I think this first one came from Twitter from a listener. And Mark, you caught it. It was Matt Diltz. Is that correct?
Yes, Matt Diltz. You can see him on Twitter at Diltz11, at Diltz11. So that would be great. And he brought us this one from the Indiana Department of Education. They have standardized testing that they're going to have to be able to do. I don't know if it's Common Core or not in Indiana, but it's some sort of standardized testing software, and it's obviously centralized. But I love the title of the article that he sent is iStep System Test, a Complete Disaster.
Excellent.
I love that. It's excellent. And it's basically, this is an interesting one for News of the Dam because here we have someone sharing the results of their load testing and stress testing prior to ever actually going on live. So we'll give a plus to the iStep folks for they at least let people know that they're doing preparatory testing before the go live date. So good on you guys for even trying to get this right and sharing some of the experience publicly. I mean, that's very good. You might get someone to come and help you. You might find, people may learn from this.
And this is how it should be done, where you educate management what the risks are. So perhaps they might not use it for everybody this go around and do the old number 2 pencil with the grid for a portion of the population to make sure that the remainder of it is stable, or perhaps even stagger the population if they're allowed to under law.
Yes.
So if they found this during testing, did they actually prevent it from rolling out?
Well, it's stating here that the iStep would be administered to over 470,000 Indiana students in this coming April of 2015. So they still have another month or so here, Howard, before I think it hits them. But of course, the quotes from the article were, this week's stress test, the second after a similar test in January failed, was meant to ensure that the system would work smoothly when the online portion of the iStep was administered in April. And quote unquote, it was a complete disaster, said West Lafayette Community School Corporation Superintendent Rocky Killian. Rocky said in summarizing his report for the technology staff at the Happy Hollow Elementary School, quote unquote, the kids did not get through it. Computers were freezing up. Everything was shutting down.
Okay. So now this is interesting. This almost looks like they're running a beta test with the students.
Yeah, because if he's actually saying, they had some kids that would come and try it, well, good golly, this is maybe it's they have some like a mock test before they get them on there.
Do you think Satan would mind if we just gave him a good old jackalope salute?
We could give him a jackalope, but here now we've got Lucifer himself would be like, wow, we're punishing children.
I wonder if this is load at an individual school level, because I can't imagine that it would be hosted for all 470,000 students all at once from a centralized location. So if they're testing it on an individual school basis and a classroom of 30 or 90 or 120 can't get through it, boy, that doesn't say a whole lot.
James, come on. What's the point of dropping an internet connection into every elementary school in all of Indiana if you can't do a centralized testing from a service provider, which I can't see in the article here. I don't know that they mention it. Would be
okay. So let's revisit that. if 30, 90, or 120 or 150 students are causing problems, I think they're going to have a problem at 470,000.
Yeah, that could be it. And they're noticing here it is CTB McGraw-Hill is looks like it might be the vendor. And let's see if I can find out whether they're hosted or not. The Educational Assessments and the TABE is a leading publisher assessment academic part of McGraw-Hill. You know, Pearson, the guys that do all the publishing of different textbooks and tests and things.
Oh yeah. You know, there's an article in one of the magazines on Pearson about how everybody hates their testing program.
Yeah, and that's obviously you don't get much information from the website about what those guys actually do. But apparently the vendor that they're working with is CTB McGraw-Hill. No real indication here as to whether it's centrally hosted or not. But otherwise, the actual as Fraley, which was another person in the another guy said, after about 25 minutes, there were significant slowness issues reported at many buildings. So the fact that they did say many buildings, James, makes me think they were doing it either on a campus or even a district kind of level.
That's just frightening.
I know.
What did they do after they failed? They send everyone to the principal's office?
Everyone gets expelled.
Nice.
Thank you. I think Satan is really going to love this one. That's a great one.
Yeah, we'll have to watch this one in April to see how the actual deployment goes.
All right. What's our next one?
So the next one we're just going to call the HuffPo effect. So this is similar to what we had quite a while back with Jennifer Rohrbach. Joanna Rohrbach. That's who it was with Prancer size. Evidently, with all the snow in the Northeast, and Howard, you can certainly vouch for this, yes. The city of Ithaca tourism website basically had a big sign up that says, "Okay, we give up, visit Florida."
Nice.
Yeah, the problem was that a little bit of news coverage of that got out. Yeah, I remember seeing it on the evening news show where I'm at. It was still somewhat sunny here, so I didn't care. I don't need to go to Florida. But I think it hit the Huffington Post. And so, of course, everyone in the universe has got to go to the Ithaca website to see their Visit Florida tourism link. And what does that do? It takes the website down for the Ithaca tourism website.
Yeah, we're talking Ithaca, though. So how many people really you think in a normal instance are going to hit it unless there's some sort of significant event like this anyway?
Well, yeah, but, I mean, you got Ithaca, you got the gorges up there, right? I mean, it's beautiful to visit. But in the winter, nobody goes there in the winter.
I drove through Ithaca 2 weeks ago.
Yeah,
maybe for some skiing around there or something.
Skiing. Come on, everyone should go to Florida.
I was going to Rochester. There was no skiing there.
Yeah. All right.
It was like driving on the planet Hoth.
so
riding a jackalope.
Exactly.
Yeah, it's the Ithaca tourism website. Now, I don't think we need to do an analysis on this site. I think this is the classical social media total overload of the site. Even if they were doing good things, we're simply going to take them out.
Yeah, they're HuffPost effect. Funny.
So next up, it's Kanye West.
Kanye West.
And Kanye is telling his lovely bride he's going to give her shoes that Beyonce does not have.
What kind of shoes would those be?
That would be his own Yeezy shoes from Adidas. The only problem is when they went live, they crashed the Adidas website.
Yes.
Wait a minute.
Yes, I know, Howard. I know.
Didn't we happen to test the Yeezy website, but it was for a different shoe
Howard,
company?
I believe you're thinking of Air Yeezys, and yes, Kanye bounced from one vendor to another, and I cannot claim any direct knowledge of what happened when Air Yeezys were launched, but when the shoes were launched on Adidas, it took the Adidas website down.
Yeah, big time.
And the big part, and once again, the big portion of that is Kanye West crashes something. It's not a car, and he gives credit to his wife above Beyonce, which is a rare thing.
Maybe Adidas should have hired us like that other company did, and now they don't have any problems.
So I can tell you at the Adidas site for the Yeezy shoes, one, it's sold out, the Kanye West. So it does state now that the shoe has been sold out. So at least they sold out of whatever inventory they had after the crash.
Yep.
Yeah. But we'll pop Adidas site in the GT Metrics here because we love those guys. That's fine. They'll love it. And I guess the other thing is there's a redirect from that link to this Facebook page for something called Modern Notoriety. So that must be
well, something that should be pointed out for a figure like Kanye West going to an athletic shoe provider, whether it's Air Yeezy with Nike or these shoes with Adidas, is that this individual pulls from a lot of non-traditional audiences for that server load. It pulls from shoe collectors, pulls from people who like Adidas or Nike, pulls from sporting apparel, pulls from hip hop, entertainment, things of that nature. So you're getting a lot more load than you would normally get for an average shoe because the audience pool is so much larger in this case.
Yeah.
Related to just the individual celebrity. And that generally has a tipping effect even on well-tuned websites. So Mark, you're looking at adidas.com. Tell us what you're finding.
Well, they get pretty good grade. I mean, page speed gives them a B, but they have some. They're much like our good friends, in Beaverton. These guys have a very professional, polished looking site. Lots of great dynamic, interactive capabilities. A lot of async rendering.
You just mentioned a lot of dynamic capabilities.
Yeah, meaning it's a kind of a single page app and a lot of pop ups, and so it's a lot of Ajax. But and if I look at why slow, I mean, nobody's perfect, right? Even though PageSpeed gave them an 89, they still got 4 Fs at the bottom.
Nice.
And the simple things that you would notice from a marketing e-commerce site. So image dimensions, not using browser caching, and they're not using sprites. But on why slow, I mean, there's a couple things. Why slow goes a little deeper on here around a CDN, meaning they're not effectively leveraging a CDN. They have a lot of things that aren't compressed with gzip. So a lot of these images are not compressed.
Yep.
It's not cookie free. Generally, it's a heavy page. So they got like 5 Fs. So even though some of the good things they're doing are very, very good, I mean, they're getting a lot of A's, they've definitely chosen some of the more difficult things to do on the site. They just got total Fs on those. And who knows whether this is the same site that specifically went down. I can't really dig into the catalog because it's sold out. Maybe I can try another
something to keep in mind with an event like this. Not only are you competing with other individuals and all of the page downloads and things of that nature, but you're likely competing with a large number of bots who are looking to buy these shoes on a speculative basis and resell them immediately on Craigslist or eBay at a significant profit.
Yeah,
James,
exactly.
when did this happen? How long ago did this take place?
This is very, very recently.
So it wasn't combined with any Black Friday events or anything like that. It was just one single event.
Yeah, this is within the last couple of weeks.
So just fetching another, go over to the Ultra Boost shoes and see what I'm down on the actual product page. That's similar to what somebody would be if they probably sharing a link to the Yeezys, to the Kanye page, going down into an actual item in the catalog with all those other image renderers and other stuff. So that's pretty good. They get an A. So they've done some good things here. There's just a few items that Yslow points out they could still improve, and that might be the things that really gets them under point load.
Yeah.
So thank you, GT Metrics, for giving us a few details there.
And the last item, Mark, is not necessarily a news of the damned, but it's a news item that addresses a news of the damned issue. So you may be familiar with Bind, which is part of the domain name system software. It's built into the kernel of Linux and Unix and variation in Windows and BSD and everything else. So basically, this is the large naming system of the internet. There was a security flaw that was leading to DNS server crashes. So basically,
nice.
Exactly. So essentially, you get no name resolution unless that DNS information is in cache at another DNS server in your chain.
Exactly.
But if your primary DNS server is down, and it's in nobody's cache, then basically you're screwed. So there's been a bind security update which fixes this server crash flaw.
Yeah, the sort of a non-cache, distributed non-cache DNS flaw.
Correct. So this affects binds version 9.7 through 9.10 patch 1. And development releases 9.9.7 release candidate and 9.10.2 release candidate. So go to the bind website, pick up the latest patches, patch your servers if you run your own DNS server, and this will help you avoid being on a News of the Damned.
I don't think Lucifer kind of is going to like you telling people to do that, And you just kind of killed some of the material, too, for later on.
Yeah, well, we try to be helpful in the end, We showcase these things just because it's nice to find out, but this is a serious vulnerability for larger, really ISPs, even middle tier ISPs. But on premise, if you're still running a DNS farm and let's say you're a big institution, an enterprise that has your own DNS servers running internally, and they are actual, you got an IP class subnet that you're using on that range. This, James, it says in the article here, it's actually specific to DNSSEC. So it's actually the security validation piece, right?
I believe so. I mean, it is a security flaw, and that's the piece that handles security validation and certificates inside of binds. Right.
So there you go. So maybe you can stop from being on the News of the Damned if you hop in on this. So that's the first time we've actually shared somebody fixing something.
Pay no attention to that man behind the curtain. We don't want you to do this.
If they can't find you, it's the same as being down.
Yeah, that's true. There may be a lot of people that don't understand that, like, all the DNS servers in the world are actually interconnected.
Yes,
I mean,
and there's time to live there, so it's cached, so it doesn't have to go all the way back to the origin servers all the time. I mean, it's a very sophisticated lookup system for information for how to reconcile a friendly name to that 4 octet set of address to send you to a server someplace.
In the full article here, James, it shows that there's already updates, obviously, for Linux under Debian and Ubuntu packages for Bind 9. And
I think there's a package for BSD as well.
BSD, if you've got PowerDNS, MaraDNS, NLETs, Ubound, other products from Infoblox. So all your major large scalable DNS stuff seems like it's pretty good. And it's solved. That one's been out there a long time, too.
Yep.
Wow. Good stuff. All right. Well, thank you to Matt Diltz for sending in the iStep News of the Damned, and we'll start to close things out here. Let me bring in the.
Can you hear the devil dog barking in the background?
Yes, but I thought it was a jackalope, Howard.
It is. It's the devil dog jackal. It's the devil dog jackalope cross.
Yes, it is. As usual, we'll give a shout out to our sponsors, Sosta, Smart Bear. Thank you guys for sponsoring us and supporting the show, because Satan loves you too, even though you're part of the forces of good, much like we are in our day jobs, trying to prevent these things from happening. James, what do you think? Yeah,
that about covers it.
Are you going to move to Indiana and take some tests?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can get some ROI on it too.
You should. That's important.
Yeah, absolutely.
Keep the dogs under wrap there.
Yeah.
I like that.
She wants to come in.
Beautiful thing.
It is indeed.
That was fantastic.